everybody, it's Christina, and here is the current sitch in the kitchen. That's right, chef is in the house. Gonna make a Wayne County picnic tonight, barbecued ribs, baked beans, and potato salad for game night. That's kind of my way of showing love, which is cooking and being in the kitchen. So what's your way of showing love? Why don't you post a comment and let me know? But quick PSA. First off, I want to say thank you to the handful of people that have been watching the videos daily, and also anybody that's been reading the blogs, because they are a little bit different. And I guess that's, maybe you're getting something out of it, or you're relating to it in some way, or maybe you just find it funny. But, if you haven't shared these and you think there's somebody out there in the world that might benefit from seeing my journey, I really appreciate it if you would share these videos from Facebook or Twitter, wherever you're watching this, LinkedIn, maybe even, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ask your, audience to do that as well. I'm not trying to, gain a following to get famous. I mean, that would be great if I did have a lot of subscribers, but my mission in this is just really to kind of let people know it's okay to be vulnerable, and to really challenge myself to be vulnerable and put myself out there this year. So this isn't easy. I may make it look easy, but it's not. And so if there's somebody out there that you think, wow, this person needs to know they're not alone, and they need to see that somebody else is out there in the world going through these same things, then please share, okay? So enough for that. What I kind of wanted to talk about today, and I'm gonna just cut some potatoes while we're talking, okay? What I wanted to kind of talk about today was, I saw this video last night on Amazon. I think it was on Netflix at once, but it was about minimalism. And it's kind of something I've been a little bit fascinated with lately, because after I sold my house in January of last year, I really boxed up and got rid of a lot of stuff. I donated probably the equivalent of over $4,500 worth of stuff last year. That was just clutter, things that were in my life that I had been holding on to for sentimental value, or, because, at one point in time they'd been part of my decor, and frankly, they weren't anymore. And this, so, this stuff was just kind of hanging out. And the basic tenet of that documentary is that those things, those stuffs that we collect in life, as George Carlin calls them, are things that, create so much clutter for us that they really, require us to work harder, to have more space to store that stuffs, and, takes us away from our families and our priorities. And things that, just generally make us happy. When we think that we need stuff to make us happy, we're on the wrong track. So I was kind of thinking about that. And in a way, the openness idea that we've been kind of going over the last day or so is very similar. What we're seeking is kind of minimalism in our hearts, inside of us, and the center of us, our core. And, Michael Ryce, who you're going to hear me probably talk about pretty frequently on these little video vignettes, is somebody who talks about creating a space of openness so that we can fill it back up with love. Now, the key difference between the minimalism that we would do with our stuff, the physical stuff in our world, we would pack that up in a box and we would get it out of the house. We would take it somewhere. The main thing that's different about the kind of minimalism of the soul, if you will, that I'm talking about, is we are not going to pack everything up inside and just push it out of us. That doesn't really accomplish anything. We're not dealing with it then, we're just getting rid of it, right? That's escapism, if you want to think about it that way, or it's just denial. But it's not healing it, it's not dealing with it. So, as uncomfortable as it is, even to pack up stuff that we love and give it away and donate it, it's equally difficult to figure out what to do with that stuff that's causing us pain inside and making less space for the love that we need to have. So, if you're out in the world today and something frustrates you, okay, and gives you, pain or makes you angry, well, you might think that that's like, okay, that thing made me feel some way. There was a cause and an effect. But in reality, what Michael teaches, and please forgive me, Michael, I'm not going to do this justice, is that it's really what's inside of you that's the cause of the frustration you're feeling out in the world. Okay, that's a big oversimplification of it. And if you want to know more, you've got to go to Michael's site, whyagain.org. And I'll post that link within the video. So with that said, all right, so let's go back to talking about unpacking and packing, right? So in our hearts and souls, our center, whatever you want to call it, our psyche, the thing is, with all that pain that we're holding inside that causes us to have these ill effects out in the world, we actually have to unpack that stuff. And by unpacking it, I mean, it's buried. Yeah, we talked about that, right? That we bury that stuff really deep inside of us because, we got to take care of everybody else. We got to fix everybody else. We don't have time to fix ourselves. And nothing's wrong with us. We don't want to face that anything's wrong with us. So we leave it packed up in boxes, getting dusty. We got to unpack it. Yeah. One of the tools that I've used to unpack it is this worksheet from Michael Ryce. I went to this seminar in Missouri that Michael taught, and it's it's really fantastic. But I'm just going to show the worksheet up here. I know you can't really read it very well, but this worksheet, and sorry, Andy, I'm going to pimp you out again. Andy Dye teaches these locally here if anybody's interested. What it does basically, it's a reality management worksheet is what it's called, but I call it the forgiveness workshop. And again, that's an oversimplification because basically what it's doing, world's smallest potato. Sorry. What it's doing is it's taking you and it's making you have an awareness and an accountability for what's really going on inside of you when you're upset or angry with somebody. Usually the things that make us upset or angry is we want something different than what we're receiving from that situation. And we create a goal around that. And the purpose of these worksheets is to kind of collapse that goal. And in doing so, help us face whatever caused us to create that goal in the first place. And by that, subsequently, we end up facing maybe some subconsciously buried hurt. And when we recognize that and we deal with it, then we can move on from it. And that goal is collapsed. And then this leaves this open place inside of us for love. So, wow, that's like the Reader's Digest version. Hope you guys followed along. But again, if you didn't, why is this happening to me? Again.org or whyagain.org. So with that said, I, have this that I'm constantly working on in my own life. Last year was a big year for me. I came across a lot of those things that I was able to kind of collapse. And that's why I think I'm able to do this with you now. But it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it's been years of denial and frustration for me, years of codependency and working on everybody else instead of myself. So I'm just kind of now getting to this beginning. I'm like in the starting line. I haven't even really probably gotten very far in this marathon of life and figuring out how to be fully open and stay open to, love. But I have found that the more open I am to love, the more love I have to give, which is great because when I give a lot of love, it comes back unexpectedly, but it does. And so that's what tonight is. Game night is about giving love. It's a lot of fun. It's competitive. Some people always win certain games. We're not going to mention any names. But it's fun, it's camaraderie, and for me, it's just the sheer joy of feeding people. Because to me, when you cook for someone, that's the most sincerest flattery. And so I know they enjoy it too. Anyway, as you're in the world today and you're thinking about, how is it that I do show love? Maybe take an opportunity to do that. Show some love. And by the way, don't forget that while you're showing love to others, to be gentle with yourself and others as well. All right. I hope you have a great one. Thanks for hanging out with me in the kitchen today.